Portuguese have had an amazing influence on our culture throughout the world. They made tea fashionable for the British, they brought refined sugar to Japan as well as tempura, and they introduced corn in Africa. The Portuguese Empire was the first global empire in history. Using a signature Portuguese spice, we prepare piri piri chicken with polenta, fresh tomato sauce, and sautéed green beans. I'm Garret Schack, and today that's what we're cooking on the coast. Hola, bom dia. Today we prepare Portuguese piri piri chicken with polenta, fresh tomato sauce, and sautéed green beans. Let's get to it. So, first thing we need to do is create our piri piri rub or spice marinade that's going to be on this chicken. Now, we need a little mixer here. Start all of our ingredients incorporating. Now, there's a wide variety of different sort of takes on this dish. Mine comes from a really good friend of mine who refuses to give me the full recipe. So if he's watching, I apologize for not getting all the ingredients in there. You should have given them to me when you had the chance. I'm going to start with a little garlic and shallots right into the chopper. And then here I've got a few spices. I've got some ground coriander. I've got chili flakes. In this case, I'm just using a regular chili flake, but the traditional recipe would have piri piri chili flakes in it, which is a Swahili word for little chilies. And then we have some paprika, some just regular old paprika. Next up, fresh herbs. Lots of fresh herbs and spices in Portuguese cuisine. In fact, the Portuguese Empire is one of the longest known culinary empires. Well, kind of culinary empires as well, but colonial empires in the world. And so for that fact, we have lots of different spices and herbs all over the world thanks to the Portuguese. So let's get a few of these in there. You don't have to worry too much about the stems, but if there are some really tough ones, you can pull them out. It adds to the rustic authenticity if you actually leave a few of the stems in there. Okay, so there's the fresh thyme. Got a little bit more fresh thyme picked here. It's really about the freshness of these herbs and all the aromatics that come with it. So lots of fresh thyme. And then I know we've all been told to pick the bay leaf out of the soup and never to eat the bay leaf, but we're actually going to grind these bay leaves right into our piri piri rub. Okay, just like to chop them up a little bit just to make sure that the grinder that we're using here, the mixer, gets to actually blend it all together. Now, on with our lid, and we start firing all this stuff up. There we go. You can see the color in there. It's turning nice and bright red. That's from the paprika and those chilies that we're using. Okay, now we need something to bind all of this together. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. And olive oil is widely used throughout all of Portuguese cuisine. There we go. Some pepper. And I'm not going to add salt at this stage simply because if you were going to let this marinate in your fridge for a couple of hours, the salt would start drawing out the moisture. We can season afterwards. Give it one last blast all together. Just by looking at it, I can see that I'm going to need just a little bit more olive oil. We want it to bind. We want to make sort of this paste. Okay. That looks better. There we go. So let's have a look at this here. You don't want to get in there too close. Those chilies they'll make you sneeze pretty heavily. A couple of chicken legs here. Farm fresh chicken legs. You definitely want to use those whenever you can. They're always a better flavor, better texture. I love using the leg for this particular recipe because there's a little bit of fat in there, and there's also lots of flavor in that dark meat. We're going to just use a resealable bag here. Drop our legs right in. It's a trick you can use at home for saving on dishes and getting a really nice coating over your product. Let's just scrape all that into the bag. Now you could make a really big batch of this piri piri, so like sort of quadruple the recipe if you wanted, and store it in your fridge and use it for other applications. This rub itself would be amazing on all sorts of different dishes. Pork, fish even, would be really great. Tuck that away. Okay. Put it in the bag and give it a good shake and rub around. Okay, now before we're done, I also want to add some fresh herbs. We're going to create some freshness in this dish as well. So we have the thyme in there already, the bay leaves. but I do want to add some of this lovely cilantro here. And I want to keep the freshness of it, and that's why I didn't add it right into the mix. What I'm looking for is not that sort of grassy flavor that can come out of overly processed fresh herbs. We want the nice, fresh, lovely texture here. We're gonna add that to the bag. Pack it right in there. Go ahead, make a mess, it's fun. And give it another shake. It's okay to leave a little bit of air in there because we want the legs to be able to move around. Give them a good rub. Shake, shake, shake. Okay. Now at this stage, you could let it sit in your fridge for, you could let it sit for a couple hours, even overnight would be great, but we're gonna get straight to the oven here. We got a show that needs to get on the road, right? So onto our sheet pan here. Just dump them out. You can see all the lovely rub is all over them. All those fresh herbs. Looks amazing. Get the rest of it out of the bag, if you can, as much as you can anyway. Discard that, obviously. We had some chicken in there, so we don't want to spread the salmonella around. Now this is gonna go into a 350-degree oven. Probably gonna take about 40 minutes to cook all the way through. We definitely, again, we're working with chicken, so we need to cook it all the way through, right? So pop it into the oven, 350 degrees, about 40 to 45 minutes. Now let's turn our attention to the next portion of this dish, which is the polenta. In Portugal, polenta is a very, very common recipe or a common dish. It's often called milho is how they describe it there. Now, I'm doing a slightly different version of that. I've got some water that's started here with a bay leaf in the pot. Let's just turn up the heat on this guy a little bit here. And I'm going to add some milk to this dish. Now, polenta is typically I guess a poor person's dish because it's simply cornmeal and water. And if you cook those two together, the cornmeal will absorb all that water and you'll get this sort of wonderful, flavorful dish that'll fill you right up. However, we're adding a few extra things to it this time. We've got that bay leaf already in there. I think that imparts a really, really lovely flavor, and it is a fresh bay leaf. You can use dry, but please, if you have it, try to use the fresh stuff. I've got some salt in here, and we'll put some pepper. And once that comes to a boil, we're going to whisk in our cornmeal. Okay? If you can find a coarse ground or a medium ground cornmeal, that's better. In this case, I've got a medium ground one here. And the trick to not having a lumpy polenta is in this process right here. Once it comes to a simmer, we're going to whisk in the cornmeal slowly, and then after that, we'll stop whisking and use our spatula here to stir it. Okay, you can see our polentas, or our liquid here, the milk and water mixture, it's come up to a really nice boil. We want to add our polenta. Now, slowly as she goes, you're gonna add that in, whisking the whole time. We're using a nice heavy bottom Cuisinox pot here, which is ideal for this preparation. You want something that's gonna hold the heat really well. And if you're wondering at home, it's about I'm using a 5-to-1 ratio today, but that's simply because what I'm looking for is quite a soft, loose polenta. You could do a firm polenta that would set in the refrigerator, and you could actually be able to cut it and deep fry it or pan fry it like a hash. So now that it's all stirred in, I don't want to use my whisk anymore. Tuck that away. And we're just going to stir every so often with the spatula, making sure to sort of scrape the bottom. You can see it, the texture of it is already changing, so it's starting to thicken already, so I want to turn that down. We'll be back later in the show to put together our Portuguese Piri Piri chicken with polenta, fresh tomato, and green beans. Right after the break, we're getting out of the studio. You'll want to stick around for that. Today, we're out on the scene and it's all about curry. Now you're wondering, why are we in an English pub at the Penny Farthing? Well, they say for the best curries, you don't go to India, you go to England. So we're gonna go down and see what Chance has whipped up for us. Hey, Chance, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good, thanks for inviting me into your kitchen, pal.
Oh, no problem.
So I hear it's curry day today.
Yeah, Friday is Chef's Curry, and we do different curries every day, every Friday, and we do green curries, or we'll do a yellow curry, we'll do a biryani, but today we're doing a lamb rogan josh.
Nice, lamb rogan josh. So curries aren't like a quick thing. You don't just bang them off a la minute, right? So a lot of cooking goes into it, and I see you got a steam table here, so.
Yeah, so what I do is on Thursdays is I make the curry ahead, because I always find that a curry is best second day. day. So it lets all those flavors kind of leach into the rest of the meat and everything.
Nice. And so this is it here? Is it? Oh, look at that. I can't wait. I gotta get my hand right in there.
It's braised for about 2 hours, and then I let it sit overnight, and then we heat it back up today.
Oh, that looks fantastic. I gotta get a little taste of that before we even keep going.
Definitely.
I can feel it right here. You know when you get that sensory, like you smell it already, and then your mouth starts watering?
Oh yeah.
That's what's happening here for me. So give it a whirl.
So many flavors in it, eh?
Beautiful. And lamb is such a, it just does so well with curries, right?
So what we usually do is we do it different every time. This one I want to keep the meat separate so that they can fill it themselves and put everything into it. So we've got a nice little dish here that we're going to put the curry into.
Perfect. Ooh, nice hot plates. I like that. Hot food, hot plates, right?
Yes. So we got the curry here.
You're not messing around with the portion either.
Oh, no.
That looks fantastic.
People want to come in, they want to get full at a pub, right?
Yeah.
And this will go really well with like an IPA or something. So we're just going to go.
India Pale Ale, right? Curry, India Pale Ale, that makes sense.
When in Rome, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So this, we're just going to put up here. We've got one more step as far as putting on the rieta. And that's kind of similar to a tzatziki, but I put mint and cilantro in there.
Dig in here. Oh, wow. Really nice. You got that sour yogurt, but yet you still get the sweetness of the cucumber and the mint. That's fantastic. Very nice.
So the second to last step is the rice. We've got a coconut basmati today.
And for everybody watching out there, here's a chef's secret on how to make it look cool on the plate. Look at that. Boom. Done. You got a perfect shape. That looks awesome.
So, and finally, we're going to make our papadum cone.
Okay.
So it's really simple.
And what, like papadum, what is papadum exactly?
It's kind of like it's an Indian cracker pretty much.
All right.
So what I do is I grab my knife and I just cut halfway down the middle. And I brought one out for you to do.
Hey, perfect. I like getting my hands dirty. All right, so we cut one halfway down the middle.
Then we put it onto our grill, hot spot.
Find a hot spot on the grill.
And once it starts to crisp up on one side, I'm gonna give it a flip.
Oh, asbestos hands over here, hey? Look at this guy. Look at look how it changes in there. That's pretty incredible.
Then I just grab it, give it a quick little by hand cone.
Holy smokes, you're showing off now. Let's see how we go here. And you gotta work quick. I can feel it hardening underneath my fingers.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
No, not at all. That's great.
So then finally, we put our chutney, which today is raspberries and mango.
Very nice.
Sweet and tangy. And we just pop that right on here. And there we go.
Cool, that looks fantastic.
Rogan Josh today.
Look at that dish. Whoa, what a beautiful dish. Can I, you mind if I dig in, do a little flavor tasting here? I know these papadums are delicious, so do this. Break into that rice a little bit. Let's see here. That's amazing. And the coconut rice goes so nicely with that.
Yeah, and the raita there, it's got the mint in there that goes really well with the lamb. It's not too spicy, it's a medium heat.
Yeah, no, this wouldn't knock your socks off, that's for sure. It's beautiful. Wow, such lovely balance too, gents.
Thank you.
Knocked it out of the park, pal.
Thanks.
Thanks very much. English pub, English curry, that's delicious, fantastic.
Awesome.
Thanks, buddy, we'll see you again.
Yeah, have a good day.
Back to the kitchen. We're working on Portuguese Piri Piri chicken with polenta, fresh tomato sauce, and green beans. Everything on our stove is already going. What we need to do first is blanch our green beans. So you may have seen this, if you're a fan of the show, you may have seen me do this last year, but it's really important because it sets this vibrancy in your green beans. So top and tail them. You see the beautiful green beans. Just take off this woody bit here on the end, and you can leave the tails on. Check to make sure we got them all, and we did. Then over to our stove with all of these guys. We have a pot of salted water that's about to come up to the boil here. In we go. Just make sure you're using a deep enough pan that it doesn't overflow, just like the one we've got there. And in the meantime, we've got an ice water bath already together. So once those have sort of had about 5 minutes in the simmering water, we'll be able to put those in there and really set this vibrant green color. Now let's have a look at our polenta here. So you can see I've still got the heat on, although it doesn't look like it, but look at that texture. Look how it's thickened right up there. We want to add some Parmesan cheese. So just crumble up some nice Parmesan. Butter, of course. Just take a spoonful of butter here. Tablespoon will probably do. It'll add a really nice richness to the polenta as well. That a stir. Now we want to taste it at this stage because what we want to do is let this polenta cook long enough that it's no longer gritty. Wow, that cheese really comes out. It's fabulous. It's got a nice saltiness. We haven't added too much salt, but we did add salt at the beginning, and also we get the saltiness from the Parmesan. So that's great. That's almost coming together. That's more cheese. We got it here, right? Go ahead. Good for you. Everybody loves cheese. There we go. Now this polenta is kind of stick to your bones kind of stuff. So imagine being here on the West Coast and going out for a long surf and coming home to a dish like this. Funnily enough, Portugal has an amazing surf coastline, 800 kilometers of coastline. They've been known to surf 364 days a year. Only taking a break for Christmas, of course. The other pot that we have on our stove right here is a tomato sauce. It's a very, very simple tomato sauce. Again, this is sort of a poor man's dish, I guess you would call it in Portugal. So tomato sauce is just ground tomatoes, literally ground tomatoes. We've used a tin plum tomato that we've just pureed up. Our green beans are just about ready to go into our ice bath, so let's do that. I'm gonna pull these guys out just as they've softened a little bit and immediately into some ice water. Setting the color, you're gonna see just how vibrant these guys are, and then we'll finish just by sauteing them. Okay, we'll give those just a few seconds in there while our pan heats up. And while that's happening, why don't we go to the oven and check on our Piri Piri chicken legs. Oh man, just the smell coming out of that oven is enough to drive you crazy. Wow, that's incredible. Look at the color on that. A good way to test to see if your chicken legs are done. Obviously, you could cut it open to be double sure, but you want to look at this, the leg here and see if it moves easily. That means it's cooked all the way through to the joint, so it looks really good. Look at those guys. I mean, the smell on that, the herbs are all roasted nicely. Now, this pan right here, we're gonna get a little bit of olive oil in there. I mentioned earlier that olive oil is one of the bases to Portuguese cuisine. Tomato sauce is coming along. I'm just gonna give it a little taste. So fresh and vibrant. That's gonna be amazing with the rest of this dish. You can see my olive oil starting to dance in the pan. So we're just going to pull the green beans out. There we go. One more time. Look at the color on those green beans. Doesn't it look amazing? There we go. Now, very simple again, a little salt, a bit of the ground pepper. There we go. A few sautés. I hear you. There we go. Now, should we start putting this together on our plate? So the first thing we're going to do, after I incorporate the cheese back into this polenta, is add our tomato sauce right to the base of the plate. There we go. Now our polenta, or milho, right, nice dollop right in the middle. Look how creamy that looks. It smells incredible. I can smell the bay leaf in there. It just blows me away. I love fresh bay leaves. I'm going to chop a few parsley pieces here for two purposes. One, I want to toss a little bit with my green beans. Nice, fresh, vibrant colors. Let's get a few of those on the plate. Smell that olive oil, fresh parsley. And of course, our chicken leg. Look at that guy. Perfectly cooked. It's gorgeous and juicy. Now that is a dish I could dig into. There you have it. Portuguese Piri Piri chicken with polenta, fresh tomato sauce, and green beans. This is going to be amazing. what better way to enjoy our Portuguese Piri Piri chicken than with the perfect beverage? With me today, Lindell from Church and State Winery. Hi, Lindell.
Hey, Garrett, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Fantastic. Thanks for being on the show today.
Fabulous. Thanks for having me. I brought with me today our Pinot Gris. This is grown here on the island on the peninsula. It's a lovely, crisp wine, perfect for summertime or sort of appetizers when you've got guests coming over.
Nice.
It's going to be crisp on the palate with sort of pears and apples and
Fantastic.
just
So
perfect.
it should cut through a little bit of the spiciness of the Piri Piri.
Exactly.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I love the color on it.
Now I'm just going to smell today because as you can see, I'm expecting. So
Fair
I
enough,
will eat
yeah.
for two and you can enjoy the wine, but I will
Sounds
give you
great.
a smell.
Wow, yes. Fruit forward, it's lovely.
Yeah.
Definitely get that pear. That's fantastic. Here, let me,
Fabulous,
Let me get a
yeah.
little piece off here for you.
Dig in there. Wow,
Oh,
the
look at
crispness.
that.
Look at that.
Did you hear the crispy skin? And mind the
Juicy.
spice?
No, absolutely
that.
not. Yeah.
Let's see how this holds up. Hopefully this will be as good as your wine is.
Oh, I think it looks amazing.
So moist and juicy.
It really is.
I should really try and get a bit of that polenta too. It's fantastic. A
This
little
is
bit of
a
Parmesan
tomato?
cheese in there.
Ooh,
Yeah,
it's
just a
nice
tomato
and
sauce.
spicy, so that's going to cut through really nice. Yeah. One other thing I wanted to mention was that we have our 2011 Quintessential, which is our top Bordeaux blend
Oh,
that
nice.
has picked up a gold, the red trophy at the International Wine Challenge, which is one of
wow.
the largest competitions in the world, and it's the first time since 2008 that somebody's won that award
The
in
Canadian
Canada.
wineries won it. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
so
fantastic.
huge honor, and we're very excited. So
Great, exciting. So we get to go try it sometime.
absolutely, come out to
fantastic.
the winery and see us.
Yeah, I will for sure. You have a tasting room there, right? Perfect. Yeah, I'll definitely be out. You can look forward to seeing me.
Absolutely, that'll be great. Thanks so much.
Check out our website where you'll find more information on today's show and maybe a few surprises. I'm Garret Schack. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to savor the flavor.